What we will cover in this presentation is how to report the project progress, including the financial report, the list of expenditure, and the partner co-financing. And then in the second part of the presentation, we will talk about how to modify the project budget. We will talk about the minor budget modifications and about the major budget modifications. So to start with the project report, you've already seen this graphic or several similar graphics where you see that the reporting process starts always with the partner reports, which are then sent to the national controllers and to the lead partner, who is then compiling these partner reports into one joint progress report, which is then sent to the joint secretariat. So the joint progress report, as you already know, it includes information on the activities performed, on your deliverables, on your outputs, but it also is an overview about the spending progress by the whole partnership in this reporting period. And the financial report is a part of this joint progress report, and it shall contain information on expenditure paid by the lead partner and by all the project partners and verified by the national controllers. So in the EMS, you have these two reports that you've already seen in the walkthrough. You have on the one hand the partner report. The partner report is on the one hand an internal management tool for you, and it's also the basis for reporting to the national controllers. So in addition to the content parts, like the part A and the section P, it contains in section C the list of expenditure. And this list of expenditure is containing all the cost items that are then certified by the national controllers. And in the project report, you have a correspondence section where you include all these certificates of expenditure of all the project partners. Accordingly, you have in both reports, like in the partner report and then in the progress report, the section D where you have the financial overview, and you have the annexes. So in the partner report, then later on, the national controllers will issue their control documents, which will be annexed to the partner report. And you will also include these annexes in the joint progress report, where you include the control documents of all the partners, as well as your lead partner verification checklist, where you verify that all the expenditure that is reported really relates to the project, that all the flexibility thresholds are respected. And then you have also the lead partner payment request, where you make a request to the program for the reimbursement of the funds. So the financial report, where to find in EMS, we have already seen a little bit what the EMS look like. And as said before, there is this button reporting. And with this button, you get to the section of the progress and of the partner report. And again, to point out that there is these two roles of the lead partner. So you are first responsible for your own report as a project partner, and then later on you will compile with the role of the lead partner the joint progress report. By creating new report, you create the report for the next period as a project partner. So the most important part of the financial report is this list of expenditure. And this is a table to be filled in by each beneficiary and listing all cost items to be submitted to the national controller. So this list is also the basis for the national controller to verify the costs that incurred in the reporting period. And this financial data should include a description of the main features of each single cost item. So the national controller and also later on the lead partner and also the joint secretariat can understand the nature of the cost, what was actually paid with this amount that is reported in the list of expenditure. So again, in the EMS, we have already heard that this list of expenditure is to be found in part C. So it's up here. And you've already seen that this, when you click on list of expenditure, you get to this section where you have this table, which is in the beginning it's empty, and you have to insert cost item per cost item. So you click on Add Real Cost, and by clicking on this button, you come to this form. And this form includes all the information that is required to give information about your cost. So you have the budget line, which you have to select. So is it a staff cost? Is it travel cost? Is it external expertise? Except for the administration costs, which are automatically calculated. So you don't have to insert any cost item for administration cost, because as soon as you include any staff cost, automatically also the item will appear showing the respective amount for administration costs. And if you or one of your partners has opted for this 20% flat rate of staff costs, the same is true for staff cost. So these partners will not insert any staff cost items, they will just be automatically calculated, and then also, in addition, the administration costs are automatically calculated. So the next thing to include or to give is the work package to which this cost item relates. Then you have a box for an internal reference number, which could be the number of the invoice in your own company or some internal number. Then you have the invoice number that is stated on the invoice. You have the date of payment. Also the currency, like we discussed before, if it was paid in a different currency, later on it will be automatically converted into euro, so you don't have to worry about this, and automatically it will always be recalculated. In the end, as you can read from the implementation manual, it will be the exchange rate of the months when you submit the progress report to the national controller, like the partner submits its own partner report. So when he presses the button submit, automatically it will be recalculated to the correct exchange rate. Then you have the total value of the item in original currency, the VAT, and the amount declared. And then you have in addition 2 boxes for description, and you have a box for a partner comment. And when you have filled in all this information in this form, then you click on Add, and automatically this cost item appears as one line in the list of expenditure that we have seen before. And when you filled in all the cost, then you can later on also extract all the table in an Excel file if you need it for something. So this is also might be a useful function for you. So what is important when you report on your cost and when you include the cost items? For us as a program, it's very important that you link each cost item to the correct budget line and to the correct work package. Because you have planned all your budget in the budget lines and work packages, and you have to report according to what you have planned in the application form. So if it's external expenditure, you have to report it in the budget line 4, and you have to give the work package for which this service was actually used. And what is also very important is that you provide a comprehensive description of each cost item, because the national controller, but also later you as a lead partner, need to understand what was actually spent by each project partner. So in this description, there should be several information given, like for example, which deliverable this was related to, the type of cost, if it's external expertise, for example, the service provider, or what was actually the service or the supply or the work that was purchased. Sometimes there are bigger contracts and you have several invoices over more than one period. So it is also required to give the contracted amount, so we can already see, or the national controller can see what was the amount of the contract, to see which public procurement rules apply for this contract, or for travel, the place and date of the mission. But as you've been informed already before, there will be specific fact sheets or a fact sheet giving information on which description to provide for each budget line. So you will be really informed in detail what is required for each budget line. And then when you filled in all your list of expenditure, the next step is this partner co-financing and forecast. So it's this section D. And Claudia has already explained that the forecast is for your internal planning. So you know what will be the spending in the next period of each of your project partners. But the section that is below, the follow-up of partner contribution, you can see here very small, but I will make it bigger, that there is a target partner contribution value. And this value is calculated from the expenditure that you have inserted in the list of expenditure. So this is your co-financing amount, which is like 20 or 15%. And then you have to give information on where this contribution comes from. So you've already indicated in the application form if it comes from your own resources, or maybe in some countries there is an automatic public fund that provides this co-financing. And so here you give the information where it comes from, and this must match. So you will be able to submit the report.